Thank you, Elaine Delmar. Good heavens, if I thought I could sing like that, I'd have the operation tomorrow. And if my wife is listening, I'm just joking. I have to say that because my wife has just won a do-it-yourself surgery outfit. In her favorite magazine, The Lancet it is. Or the Outpatients Weekly or something, anyway. She does read a lot of that sort of thing because she does enjoy a lot of ill health. There's nothing she enjoys as much as a bit of ill health. Mind you, when I think about it, and I often do, I suppose it's all something to do with the fact that her family have always been closely connected with the medical profession, you know, either as doctors or patients, you know. And sometimes both. For instance, her father, my wife's father this is, was in the Army Medical Corps, and he met his end when he fell out of bed. No. No, I'm not going to embroider on that. My father never liked his end embroidered upon. No. Would you? To each his own, I suppose. No, my wife's father, in the Army Medical Corps, met his end when he fell out of bed examining a patient. So that was... And he was court-martialed posthumously, and his ashes were reduced to the ranks. Anyway, about these competitions she's won. I went home the other night. You know how you do things on impulse. She was very excited, you know, the old Lucozade was out. Because apparently, she has won no less than 2 competitions. She had won the competition called Spot the Gynecologist. And she'd won another competition where you have 6 pictures of doctors and you have to place them in the order in which they should be struck off. She's really, really thrilled with herself. She's won the 2 prizes. She's won a prize. She's won an evening out with a male nurse who has his end embroidered upon. And 2, she has won have 2 of your friends certified for Christmas. Poor old Bob and Joyce Larkin are in for a bit of a shock. And, of course, the surgery for beginners outfit. Now, I must say the surgery outfit looks very impressive. I mean, I don't suppose you could take your leg off or anything, but I bet you could make a nasty mess of your ankle. But that's actually nothing to do with the reason I was asked to come here, you know, and talk tonight. Now, however, hundreds of people, every week, you know, write to me. Honestly, hundreds of people write to me. Let's be honest, every week nobody writes to me. To me, a pool scooping is a fan letter. I get letters from my mother addressed to whom it may concern. There is one letter I get every week from a fellow who says, leave 3 quid in used notes under a flat stone in the middle of Hampstead Heath. And I'm not sure if he's got the negatives. But it's a day out for the kids. But someone did write to ask if I would tell the first joke I ever told professionally. No. And anyone who suspects that this is a contrived excuse to tell an old joke, this letter can be examined after the show. Over my dead body. But I do happen to remember that it was a joke about a parrot and a conjurer. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, good God, he's not going to tell that old parrot and conjurer joke. Because that is exactly what the producer said. The producer of the show, he said, take my advice, Ducky, he said. Take my advice, Ducky. Perhaps some of you noticed our producer when you came in, did you? The chap with the earphones, you know, and the red dress. Anyway, that needn't worry you. Worries us, but it needn't worry you. He said, take my advice if you know what's good for you. He said, if you must tell old parrot jokes, tell them the favourite one about the old lady and the parrot, which is a story I'd never heard before. And apparently it is about an old lady who lives at the top of this, that's why it's called The Old Lady and the Parrot, who lives lives at the top of this tenement block with her parrot. And she's going out one day, you see, and she says to the parrot, now, Polly, she said, Mummy's going to pop down to the shops for a minute. Dee-dee-dee. Pathetic, isn't it? Nothing like an old lady talking to a parrot. Anyway, she said, I'm going down to the shops, and if anyone calls, you must remember to shout out, who is it? Who is it? Thus giving the impression that the place is occupied, so that it will not be turned over by the local ne'er-do-wells in my absence. Now, be a good parrot. If you're a good parrot, I'll get you some nice polyfiller. So off she goes, silly old fool, and who should knock at the door? Who should knock at the door but the insurance man? And the parrot says, who is it? And he shouts through the letterbox, it's the insurance man. And the parrot says, who is it? He says, it's the insurance man. And they go on like this for a time until frustration and excitement, coupled with a long walk up the stairs, which I forgot to mention, is too much for the poor insurance man. He collapses on the ground. And he's still there when the old lady comes back, you know. And she looks down at him lying there and she says, who is it? And the parrot from inside shouts, it's the insurance man!